Good morning and welcome to Bolton. I'm Joyce Stilley, the Administrative Officer for the Town of Bolton, and this is a live show done the first and the third Tuesdays of each month from 10:30 to 11 a.m. The show is rebroadcast on the second and fourth Tuesdays at the same time. The show is a continuing effort to promote open communications within the community, and if you have any topics, any questions on a specific issue, or just something you'd like to see us air a show on, please contact me at the Town Hall and we'll see if we can get that topic covered. As we go through the year, certainly at this time last year and the year before, we'd already had some major storms that had impacted our community as well as the state. So I'm taking this opportunity in December to talk about emergency management and planning. So my guests today are actually from the Capital Region Council of Governments. I have with me Cheryl Assis, who's the Director of Public Safety. Welcome, Cheryl.
Thank you.
And I have Bill Perkins, who is the Homeland Security Training and Project Coordinator. Did I get that correct?
That's correct. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me. And we're going to talk today about emergency planning in the Capital Region and go from there into some other topics. And Bill and Cheryl, I know that you've kind of been through this for a few years, and we've had a lot of live training with actual events, but perhaps you can tell us a little bit about what's going on in the Capital Region and why we're doing this.
Okay, thank you. Basically, our preparedness is broken into two different main functions. One is to prepare the first responders for the response part of it, and the second part that we'll talk about is the citizen preparedness. As far as the first responder part, the Capital Region Council of Governments has been around for a very long time. In November of 2001, after the events that took place, the Capital Region decided that they needed a Homeland Security component that would address disasters, natural and or man-made, and the Capital Region Emergency Planning Committee was developed. The charge of that committee is to develop plans and processes to mitigate, plan for, and or address disasters of all types. To do that, we've developed a number of committees as well as organizational structures to address that. And some of the ones that we have that are regional assets, these are assets that are available to any one of the 41 communities that make up the Capital Region Emergency Planning Committee to use in their event of need. And some of those are, we have a regional incident dispatch team. Mm-hmm. These are highly trained individuals that work as dispatchers in police departments already, that if the need arises and a town should have an event where their dispatcher gets swamped or they need an on-scene dispatch capability, we deploy this team and they will take care of that. They bring their own radio cache. They have the capability of doing the exact same type of work that your 911 operator does. Another one is Emergency Services 4, which is fire and emergency services. We've developed a number of task forces, which are a number of different fire-related capabilities, fire engines, rescue trucks, and whatnot, and put them into task forces so that if a fire department needs help, we have the capability of grabbing these task forces from all across the region and sending them to where they need to support any type of fire emergency process.
And people may not realize it that, you know, in the fire service especially, there's been mutual aid, but this goes above and beyond that in that quick, if necessary.
Normally the way it happens is a fire department gets a call, they take care of what's within their local boundaries themselves, if they can. If they can't, then they have automatic agreements, mutual aid agreements, with the surrounding towns to come in and assist, and they go and assist the towns. It's when you've used up all of those local assets and the surrounding assets that you're looking for more help. What happens is the incident commander can call RICS, and almost every first responder has the RICS number, and say, I need help. And depending on what they need for help, whether it's fire engines, ladders, ambulances, you name it, we will take and find that asset somewhere within the region. And if we don't have it within the region, we'll tap into the state, if need be, to get it to the department that needs help.
And a good example would be a large mill fire, you may very well exceed the amount and capabilities of even your mutual aid.
Oh, absolutely. If you get a large mill fire, one that, you know, is going to take hours, if not days, to take and mitigate, then that is usually beyond the capabilities of almost all of the fire departments in the region, with maybe the exception of some of the larger city
Right.
career departments. So what would happen is that you would have to figure out how you're going to swap your people out. You don't want them fatigued. Fatigue leads to accidents. Accidents get people hurt. So we would take and regionally find replacements for those
Right.
people, not only for the boots on the ground firefighters, but we also had the capability through the Region 3 Connecticut Incident Management Team to come in and assist the incident commander in that locality to manage all of that's going on.
Right.
Some of the other assets that we have that we can give to is we have a regional hazmat team. Back when we started developing organizations, it wasn't feasible financially for every community to spend the amount of money that's needed to create a hazmat team.
Right.
So what we decided to do was regionalize that particular organization, and we have a very good hazardous materials response team.
Well, and with that, you know, you talk about the cost of it, but it goes beyond that. There's a lot of training and that to become that certified level as a fire department member. And
Yes.
for a small town like Bolton that's a volunteer fire department, that just isn't feasible for us.
No, it's a large commitment for just about any volunteer department to take on by themselves.
Yes.
Even big departments, it's a burden,
Yes.
manpower-wise and equipment-wise. So the logical next step would be to spread out the need to
Yes.
a bunch of departments. And we have a number of departments within Demis Region 3, which makes up the capital region, for support, personnel, housing of the equipment that we've purchased over the years to mitigate hazardous material incidents. On the other side, other than fire-related stuff, we have a really robust animal response team. That one of the things that got forgotten, Katrina, was the animals. All these people were being evacuated, and there was dogs, cats, domesticated animals, and living in Bolton and in the country, there's a lot of horses, cows, livestock
Yes.
that comes into play when we have a major incident. And our animal response group is very good. They've been trained. Many of them are vets, and they've been trained on how to take care and set up a shelter for animals. So we're very proud of that. Matter of fact, we just bought a van, which is sort of a mobile veterinary clinic where they can actually do surgeries within
Wow.
the van if need be.
And that's, as we've talked about, that's one of the things that we've all become more acutely aware of is people aren't going to come to a shelter if they can't bring their pet. So what are we going to do
Absolutely.
in local level too, which we'll talk about the next show, but
Yes.
it all ties into this,
Yes.
that we've learned lessons. How can we move forward?
Yes.
And I can talk a little bit about our capabilities from the law enforcement perspective. I staff the Capital Region Chiefs of Police Association. Bolton is a resident trooper town, but our assets are still available to you. We have 9 regional SWAT teams in the 41 communities. We also have the Hartford Bomb Squad, which would be our regional bomb squad. It's actually made up of bomb techs from many of the surrounding communities, not just Hartford. And our regional dive team has recently taken off. We were just able to purchase them a rescue boat through Homeland Security funds, and they are actually called out fairly often to do rescues. And that's another team that's made up of many of the surrounding communities within the region.
And those assets, Bolton's a small town. There's towns smaller than us. There's towns larger than us, but still, we can't do it ourselves. And you talk about the regional emergency planning. We used to have a local emergency planning, but you would struggle as a town, you'd struggle to ever find people that would serve on it and to ever meet because it'd be, what do we need this for? Nothing's ever going to happen here. And what we've learned is that's not true, and we have been hit with some things that we never would have anticipated.
Yeah, I think if we kind of look back at the last 3, 4, 5 years, we have to realize that we're not immune to hazards that we really didn't anticipate
Yes.
years prior to that.
Yes.
I mean, we've always, as a New England town, had our snowstorms, but we've never had one on Halloween. We've never had one that's dumped 3 feet of snow in a very
Yes.
short period of time. So we have to realize that we're not immune. Tornadoes. Years ago, if we had one tornado, it was pretty unique. Lately, we've had a series of tornadoes within the state and very close to the state. So we have to take, and that's another natural hazard that we have to take in and consider. Flooding. We always have flooding. Twice a year in some areas,
Yes.
not all. Those up in the high country are very fortunate. Those in the river valleys, that's a reoccurring thing for them constantly. So they have to learn to adjust and live with it and mitigate those things a lot of times before they happen. Which, go ahead,
I
Cheryl.
was going to say, one of the tenets of our regional emergency response plan is certainly that all emergencies start local. So Bolton is
Right.
in charge until such time that you are overwhelmed and need to call in the region. And then there's, 40 other communities obviously ready to support you.
And I would say that over the course of the last couple of years with the storms and everything, that the regional assets that are available during those storms, Bolton may not think to call, but you guys are always checking on us to see if we need anything. So you've been very proactive, and I would compliment you for that.
Yeah, and that's one of the unique things about the capital region. As a regional entity, there are 5 DEMIS regions within the state, but proudly I can say Region 3 has been extremely proactive on all fronts. Our emergency management, our regional emergency management group is extremely proactive. We've been talking about all these assets that are available to you. How you get them is through our emergency management group within the region. What we've developed is we have 15 individuals that are duty officers, emergency management duty officers, and they come from all of the disciplines, fire, police, EMS. And we have a duty week. It goes from Sunday to Sunday, so that if there is an emergency and a town is calling for help, what happens is they will call the central dispatch point, which is Rick's at CCSU, and their dispatcher will immediately contact one of these duty officers. And that person is there to assist the incident commander or the town with whatever they need, and they have a very good knowledge of what regional assets we can get for you. And we maintain a regional situational awareness. So in a regionally encapsulated event where not just Bolton, but we have several different communities that are having issues like in a major snowstorm or the hurricane or whatnot. We know what's happening globally within our region so that we know if we're getting low on supplies and we may need to go to the next step and ask the state for help.
Well, and that's, you've helped us obtain some of these things too.
Yes.
That you've helped us obtain some equipment for our fire department, for our emergency operations center. We have cots and blankets and pillows as a result of the regional efforts.
Yeah, and that comes all to our planning. And the one nice thing is that when we get to that level of involvement where we're coordinating multiple towns, extended periods, one of the initiatives that we did was we developed the RCC, which is the Regional Coordination Center. Fortunate, Manchester allowed us to cohabitate with them in their Emergency Operations Center. And if there is a event significant enough where we need a lot of help to administer the needs of the communities, what we'll do is we have a dedicated group that will respond to the Regional Coordination Center, and that's what we do. We coordinate the logistics of those communities to mitigate whatever it is that they have in front of them. And it stays open as long as it's needed. It also is that link between the local level, because everything starts and ends local, and the state of Connecticut. One of the things that we do have is we have one of our emergency our duty officers, emergency management duty officers, that's embedded at the State Emergency Operations Center, so that we have a direct link from the local to the regional to the state to speed up the process of getting those vital things that you need.
And that's, people may not be aware that during a major statewide event, the state opens their operations center, and if we open ours, or even if we're monitoring, we log in and we communicate regularly with the state, putting in situation reports that you're monitoring. And so therefore, if we say, you know, we need to have several loaders, we have a major collapse or something,
Yeah.
you're there.
Yeah, and like I
working
said,
with the state to help us obtain those resources.
Yeah, we actually have that ability to see that global thing, so that when one community is done with those loaders and we know there's another community that's at need, we know that we can redirect that asset to someone that's needing. One of the human nature things is when there's an emergency is hoarding. And
Yes.
what we try to do is eliminate that. We try to, once we're involved, get the assets where they're needed the most, get that taken care of, and move them to the people that need it at a lesser degree. Some of the things that we've done is we've developed a number of plans to get that done.
Yes.
Most everything we talked to already are the assets, the physical things that we can do
Correct.
for you. Some of the plans that were developed to get this done, sort of the playbook, is the Regional Emergency Response Plan, or what we call the RESP. And basically what it does is it's a playbook, play-by-play, organization by organization, of what their capabilities are, what they bring to the party, so to speak, and how to get a hold of them. And that every community within the capital region should have a copy of the RESP. It is actually on the CROG website for access if you don't have it. Another one is the Capital Region Chiefs of Police Association has a similar document that focuses primarily on law enforcement. What they need to do when there's a law enforcement issue and they need to bring assets in to assist law enforcement groups. It's called their Blue Plan. We have a hazardous materials emergency response plan. If we get that major hazmat thing, the tanker on the highway or an oil distribution center that has had a problem, we have a plan. Because if you don't have a plan and you do it by the seat of your pants, things can happen.
Correct.
And lastly is one that we've worked on jointly is the Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan. What that does is we have identified with each one of the communities what are some issues with the natural hazards that we identified, and what are some of the things that we can do now proactively to, can't eliminate it, you can't eliminate Mother Nature, but maybe we can lessen the blow as far as hurricanes and floods and trees down and whatnot. And that plan is currently under review at the state level and hopefully will be finished within the next month or so. So that everybody will have that plan. The last thing that we offer regionally is training. One of the things that we do is we offer incident command training for the first responders. The reason we do this is that it's a lot easier when everybody's operating off of the same sheet of music, to coin a phrase, so that when you call in help from clear across the region and you're talking incident command, everybody knows what's going on. So we do offer those to the first responders. We also offer them to those individuals that would be in an emergency operations center. Underneath the National Response Plan, those individuals that occupy a position of authority within the emergency response centers are supposed to be ICS trained so that they know what's going on out in the field. We do offer that training.
It's important for them to just understand the structure.
Absolutely. They don't have to be experts at it, but they got to understand the lingo, the structure, and the organizational development. The other thing that we do is to make sure that we're good at what we do, and it's no place to practice when you have an actual incident, is we develop and run a number of regional exercises. We just completed a large regional exercise up at Camp Hartel, which oddly enough, involved a tornado strike in South Windsor, which ripped through their public buildings, collapsed the governmental infrastructure, went through a high school, and how our regional assets assisted the local entity in helping to mitigate that problem. And we develop training for communities like that all the time.
Based on a recent request from our policy board as well, Bill is also now developing a pilot program for newly elected chief officials, town administrators, and really to give them the basics of the National Incident Management System training as well as incident command. So that's something that we hope to roll out shortly, and we're very open to any suggestions from our communities.
I would expand it just a little bit to go to school systems and superintendents as well.
Great idea.
Well, it would be up to the CEO of the community to who they want. But yeah, under the National Response Plan, anybody that would occupy a position of authority in the Emergency Operations Center needs to be ICS trained.
Right.
The other thing that I've worked on and sort of developed off of the FEMA integrated emergency operation is sort of street smart emergency operations. It's a lot less time because we understand that a lot of the CEOs and the leadership don't have an 8-hour day to commit to that. So it's like a 2 to 4 hour class, and it's basic emergency operations.
Excellent.
So that's one of the things that we're going to try to roll out. We did a pilot program with South Windsor before the exercise, and it turned out to work fairly well for those people.
Good.
The other part I'd like to talk about for the remaining time that we've got is the citizen preparedness side.
Yes.
It's all well and good that our first responders can respond, but there's a lot that the citizens in the community can do to help themselves. And the more that they help themselves, the better off everybody is. So what the Capital Region did is we developed a citizen preparedness website. And what I'd like to do is, if we can, is to show the website, and I'll walk through it.
Okay. We have about 5 minutes, so.
I'm going to make it really quick. What you can see is this is the home page, and our slogan, as you can see by the banners behind us, is Get Ready Capital Region. And we have 3 tenets to that. It's be aware, plan, and prepare. And if you do that, you can be ready for just about any emergency that may come across your family. This is the home page, and it's very easy to negotiate. I'll give you the address to it in a minute. And the thing I like about this is it breaks it down for individuals. And what we did was we broke it into the 3 categorical groups. Be aware. What we want you to do is be aware of your surroundings. Do a hazard analysis of your home. Take and find out what may be a problem. If you've got outbuildings that are rickety, you don't want to put livestock in those if we've got a heavy snow or a hurricane. So know your limitations. Planning is extremely important. What you want to do is you want to have a family plan to take, and what do you do if all the family members aren't home? The kids are in school, someone's at work, or if it's during the summer months, they're somewhere else. Have a plan where you're going to all meet. If the children are old enough, make sure that they have a phone so that you can connect with each other. You want to have a plan on how to get out of your residence, what to do for a number of different natural hazards. Now, we've kind of helped you along with this. Part of this website is there's a checklist, a number of checklists actually, that will take and follow the checklist, and it will take you through whatever disaster that may be there. We have them for severe winter storms, hurricanes, tornadoes, and it's broken up to 3 parts. What to do before, what to do during, and what to do after. To make a good plan, you should use those checklists to develop your plan.
There's also documents in terms of preparing for special circumstances that you may have if there's somebody with functional needs in your family. You know, if you have an infant, to prepare a specific type of go kit with the diapers and the formula and whatnot. There's checklists for families with pets and what they may need to do for those situations.
Yeah.
And we were talking before that the Capital Region, is a link back to the town of Bolton, but that under our emergency portion on our website, we will put up a link to this website.
Yes.
And as well, we have 2 banners that you'll see up at Town Hall now for a while that will kind of tie back into exactly what we've been
Absolutely.
talking about during this citizen preparedness.
Absolutely, because the more the citizens can do to prepare themselves, the better off they'll be in the long run. You know, and if you are that survival type person and you're all set, it's important that if you've got someone with special needs or an elderly neighbor, that a little bit of community sharing goes a long way.
Yes.
To that, also on the website, one of the tabs is volunteering.
Yes.
The state and the region has a couple initiatives. One of them is the community emergency response team. A lot of the towns are developing them to assist in sheltering, assist at the Emergency Operations Center. And basically all it is a bunch of like-minded people that want to take and volunteer their time to help the community.
And we actually, in the last 6 months, had our first group go through. And we'd had 2 people before that, but we actually held a class here and graduated our first group. And that's one of the things we're going to be talking about on our next show, is trying to get people for another class.
Yes.
And one thing that we're trying to do is to take those CERT team members and develop a CERT ambassador program where we're training those CERT team members on the website to go out to different groups in their community, you know, whether it be a Girl Scout troop or the local Kiwanis Club, and to give them a presentation similar to what we've showed you today, because the more people that see it, obviously, the better. It's really a true partnership between CROG and our 41 communities, and we want to get the word out as much as possible.
Thank you very much for joining me today, and that kind of ties back into, you know, the town by itself can't do everything. You as an individual can't do everything, but tied together we can accomplish a lot. Just a real quick, the next show will actually be Jim Rupert, our Emergency Management Director, and we'll be continuing this conversation. Thank you again to Community Voice Channel for its continued support, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.